Hello. So I'm with the mother of mothers, Andrea. I don't even know. I thought about it a lot. Like, how do I introduce you? But like, because there's so many ways I could introduce you. You don't have to Google Andrea. She is who she is. Everybody knows Andrea.
Maybe in Chennai. I don't think the whole world knows.
You can't limit yourself to Chennai. There's definitely more than Chennai.
Okay, maybe. A little bit.
Okay. So I wanted to ask you, relating to music, right? So you started music pretty young, and how did it start for you?
I was just thrown on stage as a kid to sing something for Teachers' Day.
Okay.
And then,
Did you ever like go to like a church choir or something?
Of course. It was very much a part of my upbringing.
Okay.
Because we used to go to church and Bible class. And my parents are very Catholic.
No,
Catechism class.
Catechism class.
Wow, parvale. I can't believe you know that. Okay.
No, we studied in Stella Maris, so we used to have catechism class for the Catholic girls.
I have, when I applied to WCC, everybody's like, oh, you didn't get in Stella. I was like, no, I didn't apply.
ரெண்டுமே ஒண்ணுதான் என் கண்ணுல இந்த கண்ணு மாதிரி.
But yeah. So சின்ன குழந்தையா இருக்கும்போது I was just school, all the functions I was multitasking, doing the plays and the singing and the this.
So you're like a theatre kid.
Very much so.
Makes sense.
It was just a part of my upbringing. Avladha solla mudiyum. And then of course, I also did some formal music lessons with the piano.
Was it Trinity?
Yes.
How many grades did you pass?
I stopped at like 8.
That's still very impressive.
The problem is, I think all the theatre activities overtook.
Okay. Was it Russian or like Western classical?
Western classic.
Okay.
So Bach and Beethoven.
Ooh, fancy.
No, but it's good because it's that with choir gave me a good
and theatre
foundation.
Yeah.
So I never, on the time it was like, it was hobbies, all kids do something, right? I was zero in sports. This was the only thing I used to do.
Did you ever like pick up on a little bit of production back then, or was it just like vocals and like piano?
Oh, music production? No.
Not at all?
Not at all. Even now, I don't. In the sense, I will give some guidelines to my band, but they are amazing and I just trust them with it.
Okay. So since you're actually like trained with Western vocals, you can actually tell when you're singing your songs, very like it's different from how like a Carnatic singer would approach it.
The style, it's in the same way that if I sang Carnatic, it would be very different.
Yeah. No, but that's like
try panna. I went for Carnatic classes. I went for some Hindustani classes. I went for ballet classes. I went for Bharatanatyam classes. I went for Kathak classes.
So you ate Kathak up in Vishwarupa, man. So
I did some like a couple of years of Kathak in college, which was really nice. So you never know what will help you, right?
You're making me jealous. So many talents. I need to like learn some.
I was so jobless that I had to fill my day with so many different
but like that's good. There are other ways you can fill your time which are unproductive.
That's true.
But this sounds like extreme. I'm feeling
fun. It was fun. Now a lot of times I'm just sitting and I'm bored. And I'm like, I was so busy as a child.
You should go back to your Kathak.
I should go back to my Kathak, I think about it.
Do you have any hobbies right now?
All my hobbies have become work.
Unfortunately. Hey, you know what? If you can monetize it, you can monetize it.
I don't know. I think there's pros and cons to that, which is another discussion altogether.
But like when you do sing your songs, and when you're approaching it with the Western approach, like not always I feel, but did you find it difficult to sing Tamil songs initially? Because like I know that the inflection when you sing with
I think
Western
always
training.
there has been a space for that kind of voice. Like before me, there was a Vasundhara Das, for example.
Oh my God, I love her.
Yeah, so there's always been a space for that one voice which is atypical. Because when people make those party songs, they need one, different voice.
It's damn cool that you make party songs. Have you like stepped into a party and have your songs play the entire night?
No, the entire night and all. Nobody plays that much of Tamil music, especially in clubs in Chennai. they don't play it.
You need to fix that clubs in Chennai.
I believe it's a post 2 a.m. trend. அப்படின்னு கேள்விப்பட்டிருக்கேன்.
அதெல்லாம்
I never awake after 2 a.m. so எனக்கு தெரியாது.
By the way, I've never gone to clubs. Amma, when you're watching. Never gone. I don't know what she's talking about. I want to know if you have thought about releasing any indie music.
I did.
I know, but like right now.
Right now, not now. Because, releasing a film is hard enough. So I think just one step at a time.
Okay.
But the thoughts are there.
Okay.
The work has to happen. I keep thinking about it.
Okay. So when you were in college, I heard that I saw some of your interviews before I came here, and like you told them that like you were part of the cultural scene.
Yeah, very much so.
Have you like won one of those like overalls and all?
I mean, we did win. I used to win at music competitions mostly.
Yeah. I mean, how could you not?
Not all the time, because there were lots of others as well. But when it comes to the band, it would always be like people with boys had the edge. Because the boys would play the drums and the guitars. In the kala vera, now you have girls doing everything. But when I was in college,
Yeah, you studied in a...
I studied in women's Christian college because I wanted to do psychology. And at that time, I think there were only one of two colleges that offer that course.
What? Okay. I did not know
Stella
that.
is sociology.
Yeah, that I know
Yes.
of. Do you think that like performing on stage in college set you up for performing for life? Because I think a lot of Chennai kids, they start off with like performing at culturals or like making short films at culturals, and then they go on to become like directors.
I think,
and
it's a
singers.
very important because those are your formative years. And if I think about, like before I go on stage now, if someone asks me to have stage fright, no, I've never had stage fright. And I think a large part of that is because I have grown up on stage. Of course, the crowd size may change, the expectations change, all of those things change. Always it's nice to have butterflies in your stomach, but going on stage and freezing is something I do. It's never happened, and touch wood, I hope it never does. Because it's like breathing. It's, it's...
Yeah. I mean,
It's
you
just-
also have like the practice of like performing since like you were really young.
Yeah, so it helps. It helps to have that. It's not like I was suddenly thrust into it, at a much later...
So how did playback happen for you?
That happened by accident.
How did
Singing.
how did that accident happen?
So it's also related to culturals because back then all the schools, we would compete, but we would also be like, friends.
Yeah,
afterwards.
obviously.
So,
Yeah.
so this actor Nakul was in a competing school.
Okay.
But because we would all meet at the same competitions over and over again. And he was a big fan of my voice at that point. In school, I had a lot of these, admirers for my...
Of course. How could you not?
Okay.
Not surprised. Who's surprised? Folk found in kitchen, guys.
Yeah. So when he was working, once he started working in film, he mentioned my name, I think, to Harris Jayaraj sir. And he called me and he's like, listen, I want you to come to this. So I was like, oh, okay. So I just went there. And he Harris sir just recorded me on something in Onion because that's the film he was working on at that point. And then he recorded me on another. The first thing I ever recorded for him was one random hum in Kadal Yanai. I don't even know if I'm credited in that song. But anyway.
Okay.
Then he recorded me on some
Like
bits
backing
of
vocals.
Kannum Kannum Nokia. No, it's a solo hum.
Okay.
If you listen to the song, there's a female hum and some English lyrics, take me away, something, I don't remember.
Okay.
But yeah, then he recorded me on Kannum Kannum Nokia for the same film. Like, so there's Vasundra's voice and my voice, like,
What a
And
generational debut, by the way. Like, what a song and like what a debut to have.
but at that point, my interest was not here. I
Okay.
wanted to go away and study like jazz at Berkeley in Boston. So எனக்கு வந்து I was not pursuing this actively. It was pursuing me, but I was not pursuing it. So that's the story of my life. But I guess that's fine. Some people pursue it and some people it pursues them.
I mean, if it finds you, that means it's probably meant
It
for you.
doesn't mean that it's without heartache. Let me add. Just because it's pursuing me doesn't mean that everything came easy. You know, I've had my own share of stumbling blocks in the middle, which people may have faced in the start. For me, the start was super smooth. Like, it just came and fell in my lap. But in later stages,
Like how?
you know, some of my films that didn't release, for example, you know, a lot of some roles that I didn't, that went to other people over me. All these things have happened to me also, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
I mean, it happens. You
Yeah,
know, win
எல்லாருக்கும் ஒரு
some,
அடி வரும் எங்கேயாவது வரும்.
yeah, you win some, you lose some.
Exactly.
So once you started playback, where did you take it from that? So did you just like start getting projects and then just
இல்ல so Chennai is a very small place, honestly. And at that time there were no reality shows and there were no talent contests, so you had to be spotted the old-fashioned way.
okay, yeah.
And
But that must feel so much more
so
magical.
it is magical in a very beautiful way. Like, I went to take some passport size photo, I remember, and some director has seen that photo in the Konica lab and got my number and called me.
Dude, that's
Okay,
insane.
these things have happened. Yeah.
This is like getting scouted to be a supermodel.
Yeah, exactly. So இதெல்லாம் நடந்திருக்கேன். I'll be like, இல்ல, I'm not interested. And
And how did they get your number?
Because in Konica you have to give your number to get
Dude.
the photo, no?
Konica, some privacy, mate. Some privacy.
I don't know how they got. Maybe they bribed the guy at Konica. I don't know. I hope Konica doesn't sue me for.
Hey, you should be suing Konica. What do you mean Konica doesn't sue me?
So, you know, these things happened, and then I started with ads, like most people.
Yeah.
And that happened because I did the pantomime. You know, it's like a thing in Chennai that happens every December. The Christmas pantomime, it's called.
Okay.
ஒரே ஒரு தடவை தான் நான் பண்ணியிருக்கேன்.
Okay.
And at that one
Does
time,
it still happen?
it still happens.
Dude.
Yeah.
Living
It
under
still
a rock.
happens. So the year I did it, I was there, and Shiva was also there.
Mirchi
Shiva.
Shiva.
So he was also there. He was, yeah. So both of us, I think, were spotted at the same time.
Let's go.
Yeah, one of Gautam Menon's assistants had come to watch it, and she seemed to fancy me, so she called me.
We should
for
go back to the pantomime.
So she called me to do a screen test for some ad, which I just went and did, and then
Just
yeah, my first ad. It was very epic because. So this is a long story. There's a backstory for the story.
Okay, drop the load,
Before
mate.
I did psychology, I did 3 months of law school because my dad is a lawyer, and they wanted me to. I was actually studying to be a doctor. பாருங்க இங்கெல்லாம் மாத்தி இங்க வந்து. So I wanted to be a doctor.
Okay.
I wanted to be a psychiatrist.
same
But
girl.
and I studied science and everything in my 11th and 12th. I got some pretty impressive marks as well. Then I decided it's medicine or music. I choose music, and everyone was horrified. Like, what, you're wasting your brains like that. So because music is a hobby, medicine is a profession.
Yeah.
And the time la abdida ellarum yosichanga.
Yeah.
Anyway, rebel that I am, I stood my ground, and my parents' power, they were like this. They just gave up on me, I guess. Then they said, at least you have to do some degree.
Okay.
So that year only, they started the School of Excellence in Chennai.
Dude, wait, we could have been alumni.
Oh, I was there for 3 months. I was there. I was the first batch in the School of
No way,
Excellence.
it must have been so
It was a
tiny.
pokey little tiny ass room.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. And I remember getting yelled at because I wore a sleeveless kurta one day.
Dude, இப்போ கூடயும் திட்டு வாங்குவோம். Bro, someone wore a Hakoba kurti, white kurti Hakoba. She wasn't allowed to write the exam.
See?
They're too picky about that.
Exactly. So we were the guinea pigs, the first batch. So while I was there, I was just really unhappy. I felt like this is not what I want to be doing with my life. So after 3 months, I was like, I'm done.
Okay.
I can't do this. I don't want to do this.
Did you take like a break here and then go?
No, I didn't. So at that point, I just went to WCC and did psychology because என் மனசுல வந்து psychology-க்கும் psychiatry-க்கும் ஏதோ ஒரு சம்பந்தம் இருக்கும்.
Okay, fair.
You know?
Yeah.
So basically, I lost 3 months of attendance. சரிங்களா?
Oh, WCC வேற.
3 months of attendance காலி ஆயிருச்சு. So they took me on the condition that
You have to attend every day?
exactly not even half a day leave I was allowed to take. It's like fine. Then they called me to do this ad few months later. Now I can't take leave to go to the shoot. So they said, okay, no problem. We want to do the sunset shot with you. So college gets over at 2 o'clock. 1 hour to go to ECR 3 o'clock. We'll plan the shoot. Correctly, அன்னைக்கு தான் ஸ்போர்ட்ஸ் டே நடக்குது.
Oh, super.
So they locked the main gate. They were not letting anybody go out.
I hate when women's colleges do this, bro.
And I'm freaking out. It's a Gautam Menon ad. Vivek sir is it's not some, Kachara small time ad. All these big people are there and I can't do anything.
You jump out of the gate?
I considered it, but the gate is like pretty freaking high. So Banu, this makeup artist who's legendary, everyone knows of her. She was in the car. She had come to pick me up. She said, don't worry. And she got me, she did my entire makeup in that little Ambassador Palava in the car park of WCC. I got fully ready. 4 manikku they opened the gate. Upday zoom, we went to ECR, 5 o'clock just in time for the sunset.
Dude.
And I was remembering this just 2 days ago when we were going late for some promo and everyone was freaking out. And I was like, please. Like, this is the way I started my career. So this is not a big deal.
This is all like part of the...
This is just part
of the charm, you know.
So...
அப்பதான் அவசரமா போனா டக்குன்னு first take-லயே முடிச்சிடலாம்.
அவ்வளவுதான். So அதுதான் வாழ்க்கை. That's the story.
Now, happening in college life you had...
I was not allowed. I couldn't even bunk half a day to go anywhere.
That is just women's colleges in Chennai.
No, but it's because of my 3 months hiatus in the law school.
Is it like 85% in WCC? Like the percent?
No, it is not even that much. 3 months out of a year is a lot, ma. 60% attendance.
That's true. Yeah.
I missed a whole term. Like,
no, we used to calculate how many days you can take off. So how we used to take off is இந்த நாள்ல half day, அடுத்த நாள்ல half day, மொத்தமா வச்சானா one day one subject போயிரும். So yeah,
all worth it, I guess. Fun times.
And then what happened after college? So did you want to pursue psychology or did you just like get into the industry after that?
After psychology, I took a gap year.
Okay.
Because I was preparing to go to Berkeley.
Okay.
In that gap year only, the movie happened.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was going to study music at Berkeley College of Music. And I wanted to apply for a student loan. Again, this is just my divine timing in life. So that year the RBI guidelines were changing. So they were very, very suddenly very conjuice about giving student loans. Okay. And at that time, poor me, I'm going to apply because Berkeley is quite expensive. And the bank manager laughed in my face. He said, music poi kathukradhukku ivlo kaas theve. He didn't believe it. You know?
But it's Berkeley. Hello.
Yeah, but he doesn't know Berkeley, right? He's a bank manager sitting in Chennai.
Okay, yeah.
So then I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Blah, blah, blah. And then the same Gautam Menon's assistant called me. And she said, listen, I know. She knows, like, she's like, I know you're not interested in movies.
Bro, guardian angel.
She knows that because she knows I said no to everything.
Okay.
She's like, but I know that, you know, you're going to Berkeley. So just think of this as pocket money for your education. You can use it for your expenses there. Somebody nice, she, you know, paraphrased it. And she said, it's only 20 days. Why don't you do it? So I said, okay, fine. Only 20 days. Took 9 months to get over.
Oh my God.
Okay. I missed the intake.
No.
I missed it. So the next year,
okay,
again I reapplied.
Okay.
Again I got in. I got a part scholarship.
Okay.
But you know, baaki neriya kaas irukilla. So then, when I was again getting ready to go to Berkeley, correctly Dhanush calls me.
Dude.
He's like, listen, my brother is looking for a tall girl to act in this new movie. I thought of you. Why don't you do? Now Dhanush has already set me up on auditions before that because I know Dhanush through a mutual friend, and you know. So I was like, see Dhanush, I'm going to study in Berkeley. He's like, yeah, 3 மாசத்துல முடிச்சிடுவாங்க.
Not again.
So
மீண்டும்.
Of course, everyone knows how long Ayrathil Oruvan took. I don't have to say it. So then I thought, okay, Sari, maybe God doesn't want me to go to Berkeley, and I just shut and.
It's not like Andrea lost Berkeley. Berkeley lost Andrea.
No. But there are many times when I sit in, especially when the going gets rough, I'm like, if I had gone to Berkeley.
You think you would do it now?
No.
No way.
No, not now. But up until Vishwarupam, the dream was there. Then it kind of died.
What killed it?
The movies.
Stop.
Yeah, the movies killed it. What to do? But it's okay. I still get to. I mean, people go to Berkeley so they can, come back and make a living. I'm doing that anyway. So that's the silver lining, I guess.
Yeah, you're already doing what they want to do. But like,
but the experience of going and being a student, and I miss that. I'll always regret not having that experience in my life.
But you have so many other unique experiences.
Maybe at some point I'll take 6 months or a year off to go and just do some random course. Maybe
there's
anthropology.
Like summer courses in Berkeley, right?
Adala waste ma.
Okay.
நான் வந்து அதுக்கு professor-ஆவே போலாமா?
Like, who are you talking to, Samina? Who are you talking to? Like, pull yourself together.
Like, are you the professor? Because you're like tweenies at the summer course.
Education doesn't have it. But like, I'm sure you know everything they would teach you that.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying I'll be old enough to be the professor at the summer course.
No.
Yeah, but it's never too late.
Never too late.
Never.
Yeah. Like, next thing you know, someone's writing an article. Andrea pursuing.
It's possible. I might take a gap year again. You never know.
Never know. I actually wanted to ask this question. So there are a lot of music directors in Tamil cinema, but very few female music directors. I wanted to ask, like, now the music directors have these like big teams. They have like a mix engineer, there's like a mix and master person, and someone who's like composing, someone who's producing beats, and someone who's writing the lyrics, and it's like the whole team that comes together to make a album, right? So why haven't you ever thought of like doing music direction?
Because I'm very selfish when I'm writing my own songs, how do I say this? When you're making a album for yourself as a singer-songwriter, it's about you. It's your thoughts, your feelings, your perspectives, And when you're making it for a film, it's about multiple people's perspectives.
But you
the director's vision. As an actor, I do it.
Yeah.
As a playback singer, I do it.
It's all of the things that you need for like a music director, right?
But I don't know. I don't want to. I don't want to.
Okay.
Because maybe it's that one thing in me that I want to keep for myself.
Okay. That's fair. Yeah. Yeah. That is fair. But I would have loved to like hear like your music direction at some point, I would have loved
it.
I
mean, I make my own English songs, because I think in English, unfortunately, not in Tamil, but of course, over the years, that's also been changing, and now I'm really looking forward to doing some exciting collabs with some very exciting indie artists that are on the scene right now. It's a great time for indie music in Tamil.
Yeah.
So
I watched some interview of you like 4 years back where you were just like, dude, indie music is coming up. I'm like,
absolutely.
Andrea called it, guys.
I called it. Yes.
She called it like way back. This was like COVID, I think. You're talking about it.
I was like, it is the future. Whether people want to admit it or not, it is the future.
So do you think you'll do like an entire EP like Taylor Swift?
I don't know if EPs are a thing anymore. And I'm definitely, I don't know. People's attention span is that much these days. If a song is over 3 minutes, it's long.
No, here's my 2 cents on it. I don't think people don't like longer songs. I think longer songs just need to be like catchy. If it's like really long, there are long songs that do come out now, but they do feel short because they're so good.
Some,
listen
they're
to.
the exception, not the rule.
Okay, enough for me there.
No, it's a bunch of things, you know.
And even the short songs have
Right
only
now,
chorus.
success is a metric. The metrics of success have changed. So, for example, this might be very controversial for some people, but people now define success by their streaming numbers, the number of streams that they get, blah, 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 blah. So
Quantified.
basically, if an artist is successful, a lot of times they're rehashing the same song
Okay.
and putting it out there, and their streaming numbers are going up. Great, fantastic. But you're listening to a recycled version of the same song, because if it works once, they will feel obliged to put out versions of it in every subsequent album. There are very few artists in this world who are constantly reinventing themselves, because reinvention takes time, it takes effort, and it doesn't fetch you as much money as the other route does.
100%.
And on the other hand, for me, when I think about some really beautiful, great classic songs, there are some in English, there are some in Tamil, like, you know, a Raja Sir song, or even a Vasigra, which till date always works like a charm. You know, it's fantastic. It's fascinating to me that if you look at the streaming numbers of a song like a Vasigra, or there's a song of Rajasthan's that I do at every show, which is called Asaya Digam. And even a 7-8-year-old kid in the audience will be singing along, which blows my mind. That kid was, you know, not even conceived, like her parents may have been children at that point.
Yeah.
And she knows that song. Their streaming numbers will not even be a blip.
100%.
But so success is, you know.
Yeah. You can like inflate those things also very easily these days.
Absolutely.
You know?
But these are the metrics by which we are measuring our own success.
Correct. Yeah.
Which is so sad.
Yeah.
You know?
That is sad.
It is very sad. But I think actually the real money is in performance.
Yeah, 100%. That's where it's at. Yeah.
That's where the real money is. Always. For everyone. Universally.
Universally.
That's why people are always going on tour.
Yeah, exactly. If you, okay, another topic for another day. But so how do you think your style with singing has changed over time? Like, because, you know, I've heard singers say that, like, as you like grow up, your voice also like matures with you. So
Yes, that is true. It doesn't necessarily impact your style though, because style is always a choice. And a voice maturing is a biological, you know, thing that just happens. In terms of style and the maturity in that, I think, at least for me personally, when I was younger, I used to think that it's important to embellish as much as possible, and, you know, to be able to, like,
especially when you're
pretty
on
much
stage.
show off.
When you need to win, you have to do that. Yeah.
But as you grow, at least for me, I think what the song needs is more important. So, control. That's where the beauty is. You can have this much variation, this much knowledge, but if the song needs only that much, you have to give the song only that much. You should never overpower the song, and the same rule applies for a role. It applies to any, you know, just because I know some 10 fancy words, I shouldn't put them all into one sentence if I'm writing a story, right?
Yeah.
The story needs what it needs. The
Yeah.
song needs what it needs. The film needs what it needs. You got to know how much to give.
Moderation.
Not more, not less.
So we've established that you do singing, acting and all of that, but this is like your first time co-producing.
Yes.
You know, creatives usually have the need to do something different, you know, all the time. Like, if you do something and you get good at it, you're just like, okay, let's do the next thing, let's try the next thing. How
That's
did like
true.
Production work for you?
But no, those are not the reasons that I turned producer. And like at the start of the interview, I mentioned that I had my own stumbling blocks. So I think about a few years ago, post-lockdown, I had a film which was slated for release, Pisasa 2, which all of a sudden did not release for reasons unknown and unfathomable to me as an artist, because you know, I worked extremely hard on the film. I put my like a year of my life. I said no to all other work.
Yeah.
And as the journey of a film only ends when it releases. It's not like, oh, I got my paycheck, I'm good to go. It's not like that. You know, the journey is completed when it releases.
Yeah.
Whether it's a hit, whether it's a flop, all that is secondary. The film should come out. That's very important. You know?
100%. Like, who are you making it for?
Exactly. Who are you making it for?
Yeah.
What is the point?
Yeah.
So that really kind of brought me down. And I think I went to like this really dark space for some time. I questioned everything, including the career choices I made. I mean, like, I was scared to sign new films because I was like, what if this happens again? I don't, you know. Another film of mine, Manushi, was also stuck for different reasons. It was censor issues. Mm-hmm. But this film being stuck was completely, it was very producer related.
Okay.
And at that point, I think I felt the need to have more of a say, you know, because as an artist, I was powerless to do anything to release my film. I didn't want to be powerless again. I don't like feeling powerless about my life. It's not a nice feeling.
It's not.
It's not.
Yeah.
So I thought, you know, if I'm going to do a film in Tamil again, like, big films are different. They take care of themselves because there are much bigger factors at stake, you know. But if I'm going to do these kind of films and this kind of budget, and, you know, I thought
like
I should have,
budgets,
I should have a bigger say and I should have a bigger stake. And at that point in time, Vikarnan had come and narrated the script to me.
Okay.
Via another producer, just as an actor. And we settled on a signing amount. Everything was cool. They sent me the agreement. I signed it. Nothing happened. Because the producer was, I think, bankrupt and unable to make the film. So we sat and waited and waited and waited. And Vikarnan was in touch with my manager. And I felt bad also because I know what it's like to travel with something and then have it for no fault of your own.
Things out of your control.
Things out of your control. So I was like, you know, chalo, let's try to set this up on our own. But when you have a film that's already stuck, nobody wants to make a film with you.
Okay.
They think you're bad luck.
Oh, no.
And, you know, it's a superstition that a lot of people have. I don't blame them. It's just the way, you know, maybe if I'd been in their position, I might have thought the same thing. I lost some films to other artists. It happened. It was like, but always music saves me. So, you know, it was exactly at the same time that Oo Solriya released, and I was like bombarded with show after show after show. So I was able to just power through it with my music.
Dude, that song was like huge.
Yeah, it is. These are the things I'm extremely
Those are like blessings.
Yes, I'm very grateful for. If I had just been an actor, I wouldn't have survived that. I wouldn't be sitting here now. So for me to have a slew of unreleased films and to come back not just as an actor but as a actor who is co-producing the film, I've taken a loan against my property to put money into this movie. It takes, and a lot of people think I'm crazy. They think I'm mad to do something like that, including actors. They're like, why would you do that? Don't do these things, you know. But my logic is, it's the 10 years of films that paid for the house in the first place. You know, you gotta go all in sometimes.
Badass.
You gotta go all in sometimes. So, yeah, in that way, I guess. As an actor, I would say it was a breeze.
Okay.
Doing this role it's a lot of fun. We played around a lot with the look and feel because it's like an antagonist, you know. And it was not as emotionally strenuous for me as some of the other roles I've played, like in Taramani or Pisasitu or Manushi. All of these were very, you know, strenuous roles for me.
Okay.
So the co-producer gig happened because I had gone through this and I saw someone trying to make his film and not being able to. And because at that point the film seemed like a compact, small film, we tried to set it up. And eventually ended up saying, you know what, I'll just put the money myself. Then it became a bigger film because Vetrimaran sir came on and he saw the film in a bigger scale. So he set it up saying, you know what, I think it needs... his vision expanded the whole thing, basically. Then it was scary because I was like,
yeah. 100%.
But I didn't.
You just thought you'd like, hey, damn it, and there's like no. There's a lot more to this.
There's a lot more, lot more. So we really overextended ourselves, and of course, I'm not the only producer, and I'm not the only person who has a lot at stake. It's Kavin. I think it's a very important film in Kavin's career trajectory at this point. He needs this film to work for him to,
Kavin's already successful.
Yeah, I know, but to him to go to the next level, this is that film for him.
Yeah.
All actors have those films.
Yeah.
The breakthrough. Yeah, the breakthrough. It takes you to the next league. I think this is that film for Kavin. He's done a fantastic job.
Yeah.
And it's also risky for him in the sense it's not your stereotypical good man hero, nothing like that. Everyone has shades of grey in the film.
I mean, all of us do.
Yeah, that's the director's vision. He's like, people can just be bad for no reason. It's possible. I don't know what his childhood experience was, but we keep joking about this in all the interviews. But it's a very interesting perspective.
No, he's right. He's not wrong.
He's absolutely not wrong.
But the thing about movies is that people come with, so when you watch a film, and you see like a hero or heroine or whoever you like associate with while watching it, you want them to do the right thing, because when you leave the theater, you want to feel like you're the hero. You did the right thing. You made the right choice of like resonating with them,
Absolutely.
So when like somebody
That's the magic of movies.
Yeah.
Oh God, what is the name of it? The Brad Pitt racing movie.
F1. Yeah.
I came out of that film feeling like I'd wanna I don't even watch F1. I don't even care about the sport. But watching that movie made me feel like I won.
Exactly.
And that's such a major reason for that film's success, apart from the technical,
soundness,
everything. Apart from the fact that there's Brad Pitt in the movie, it's the feeling you walk out of the theater with. It's a very big factor. And that's the magic of the movies.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
See, but our film has that at the end.
Okay. Oh,
it
the walking out with
it has that win.
The glory.
I won't say glory. It has that win. And it's very unexpected. You don't even know it's coming.
Okay.
You don't even see
That's the best kind.
Yeah. And also like Kavin's he describes himself in the film. Ethical hacker.
Oh.
So, even bad guys or people with grey shades, they also have code of conduct that they follow.
Or ethics irukku.
Ethics irukku.
Tappu
In the antagonist within her world, she has her loyalties.
Okay.
She has her code of conduct. That's the beauty of the...
Yeah.
And then you see these good guys who are capable of some crazy things because they are defending what they think is right.
Yeah.
And in their way to defend, they are even willing to kill. So this is the beauty of the film.
Okay. I like this.
And it's like full fun.
நீங்க சொன்னா கரெக்ட்டா தான் இருக்கும்.
No, it is. I was like, no man, we can't make... I've done too many serious films. I need a fun film. I was very clear on that.
Good. Now I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
Because I love fun films. They're my favorite kind of films.
It's a fun film.
Because like sometimes when you do go watch a serious film, you're just like...
fun but dark fun. That's it.
The best balance.
Yeah.
What would you say your relationship with validation is now?
Very good question. See, your sabbatical clearly worked out. Because you're asking such questions. I think actors always seek validation.
Yeah, of course.
That's artists in general. It's part of the job because every time you're putting up, you're singing a song or doing a film, you're putting a part of yourself out there with it. It's
100%.
very, very hard to be detached from your job when you're in the arts.
100%. Dude, I get attached to my interviews. It's not even art. So I completely understand.
Yeah. I think, but the way I have learned to circumvent or go around it is to you have to, it's very imperative. The film industry or the entertainment industry is like a sandcastle. You know, one wave can come and thrash the whole thing. And it doesn't matter how high the castle is that you have built, it's essentially going to be a sandcastle.
That is a great metaphor, by the way.
It is. That's all it is.
Yeah.
You have to be prepared to rebuild over and over again. Because the wave is only destroying the castle, not the sand.
Dude, put it on a t-shirt. Put it on a t-shirt right
Even
now.
I don't know where that came from, but it's you know, you have to be as grounded as that sand. That's very important.
Oh, the metaphor
That's
is
really
crazy.
important. And it doesn't come easy. You have to lose a couple of castles to get this lesson ingrained in you.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
And you feel like you've become one with the sand now, or?
I think I've reached that point where, you know, I'm like, yeah, man.
Yeah. I mean, look at you now. You're like wearing all these different hats, you know. It couldn't have happened without a few sandcastles falling down.
100%.
You know.
Sometimes you have to, you know, like they say, what is this? It's a Shakespeare quote.
All that
Some are
glitters.
born great, others achieve greatness, and some have greatness thrust upon them. So greatness doesn't just come. It comes after a series of failures sometimes. You have to fail to be able to dig deep and find those parts of you.
So like when you get like criticism, how did you handle it while you were younger versus now? Like when you started out?
I don't think I got a lot of criticism when I was younger.
That's such a flex.
It is true. No, really. I used to have people asking me for my autograph in college because they would see me at some play or some culturals, and I had stalkers who would call the landline. So I've never had. I don't remember having much criticism as such.
I think I like remember when you were singing earlier on, like a lot of people would say that your style is somehow different from like what was existing back then, you know?
Yeah, it is not criticism. This is what happened with me. Or maybe I never got the criticism directly. I always used to think, if everyone says I'm good, why am I not getting more work? So it made me feel like at some level, I was not fitting in. I was not good enough. However, nobody would say, oh, you sang this badly, or you did this role badly. But it would not lead to more. And
you know, I think it's because entertainment as an industry is mostly networking.
I don't do that.
Yeah.
That's true. It's a very big component.
Yeah.
And these are choices that I've made as an individual, you know. And I'm at peace with it now. But back then, I wasn't. I thought arrogance of youth. If you're good, you should just get work automatically.
Yeah.
That's it. Because it chased me, in the beginning, I didn't have to lift a finger, right? And the same rule doesn't always apply throughout life.
Yeah.
And eventually I made my peace with the fact that I don't fit all the, I'm not a typical this or a typical that, which means sometimes you have to create your own opportunities in a way. Because let's say, for example, if I had not decided to put my money where my mouth is on mask, maybe I would have just not had, people would have just written me off. It's possible.
100%, yeah.
Sometimes you have to do the thing for yourself.
Yeah, we just pick yourself up, put your socks on, get
Build
to
the
work.
castle again.
Yeah, build the castle again. What else are you supposed to do? Yeah, 100%. I think I've quenched all my curiosity regarding your work. I have more questions to ask, but I don't want to take up too much of your time. But thank you so much.
Thank you. It was very nice to have someone ask some deep questions.
Yeah, likewise. I enjoyed all the answers. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. And I'm glad you're back after your sabbatical.
Thank you so much. And I'm excited to watch your film. Go book your tickets. I think right now when we're recording,
Yeah, bookings are now open.
Yeah.
That is
So,
correct.
go watch it. சொல்லவே தேவையில்ல கவினா படம்னா ஃபர்ஸ்டா போய் நின்றுவேன். So, now it's your turn.
Yeah. Actually, I have to mention this. The album is a great plus point for the film. And we got the songs are just, I don't know if you've heard them. They're so different and fun and quirky, very different from GV's usual stuff. So I love the album. It's a great album for me personally.
I mean, you're the one with the better musical
I
ear.
love the album.
So
we wanted something very quirky and and I think we got that. And our technical team in general, our styling team, or RD sir, who's a cinematographer, it's we scaled it up. This will be one of Kavin's biggest budget production films so far in his career. So it's scaled up. So yeah, hopefully with everyone's love and support.
Yeah. Without that, we can't do nothing.
Kuch bhi nahi.
Yes. But thank you, Andrea, for coming, and thank you all for watching. And don't forget to watch Mask. I will be there first day for sure. If you're not there, you're losing out. Not me. But okay, thank you so much. I will see you all in the next episode. Bye. Bye.